How's it going, YouTube? My name is Kiki and welcome back to another video. Today we are doing a Directive 8020 review. If you're wondering where the gameplay is, it's over on my brother's channel. I'm putting it on the screen here. At the moment, he only has one part out right now. Maybe by the time I'm uploading this, he has two parts out now. There's a lot of like audio stuff that he has to edit because it is this like it's just a big mess we did in the first recording. Second recording went a lot better. But from what he's been telling me, like the first recording we did, it just was so bad. We messed up on the audio. We messed up on a couple things. There's an echo. It was just really bad. However, don't let that take away from the experience that my brother is going to do in editing. We had a blast. It was my brother and his friends. We had a blast playing Directive 8020.
That's so cute. Like, look at it in the camera.
If you haven't watched part one, it's out now. Go check it out. But as far as things go, I think the game was severely underwhelming. The whole concept is we are people going into this planet to save the Earth or something like that. We go to this, we crash land on the planet, or an asteroid with like alien life form crashes into our ship. We crash them to their planet. Bang, bang, boom, stuff happens, and these aliens just so happen to be able to clone us. They clone us, they take our face, they take our skin, they take absolutely everything, even our voice. Yeah, they underutilize that concept to not have any moments where you're questioning whether the people around you are actually who they say they are. I mean, think about it. These things can clone you. These things can copy you. Yet they underutilize that concept to where you as the gamer, or whoever has the controller at the time, is questioning, should I trust this person who is claiming to be my friend? You know what I mean? Like, they underutilized that. They only used it once, and that was with Esley. You could argue with Williams and the entire Williams section, like that was probably number 2. But apart from that, they underutilized this thing so bad. It was so bad how they underutilized the entire concept of you being able to be copied. That was the best moment by far. First of all, there was 2 moments or instances like that where Stratford and I believe his name was Cernan. Stratford and Cernan run into their own clones, but immediately they're taken away. Like that whole idea of like, oh my gosh, like a Detroit become human, Hank shooting the real Connor. Like, who is it? Who actually is it? They didn't have a moment like that in this game. Not once. You have the concept of being able to clone, and you as the gamer never really have to guess who's the right one, because even in that one room where there was 2 Esleys, you don't even get to choose who to trust or who to shoot. Us as the gamer, we're like locked in. We're like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to choose who to kill, or I'm gonna have to choose who to believe. You don't. You really just have to choose how to approach the situation, but you don't make the choice on who to shoot. And it was so underwhelming because I feel like they were trying so hard. I don't know what they were doing, bro. I can't even explain what they were doing. It was so bad. Like, you can't do that. You can't make us the gamer so excited. It feels like it's gonna be like on Among Us timing, right? Like, we even made a couple of jokes like that during the recording. It's literally like Among Us. The imposter is sus. Like, we have to be questioning and worried about who around us is actually real. We're questioning that. Throughout the game, we're like, oh my gosh, who's the real one? And in the end, they underutilized the whole cloning aspect. Well, I don't want to say cloning because there's actual cloning in the game, but aliens copying us aspect. They underutilized that very much. And it's a shame because they had it. They had that idea and they had such a good story. Yet they underutilized it and they just sold really, really bad. Next complaint. The characters. I believe the Asian chick. I forgot her name. Cooper's her name. Cooper gets like maybe 3 parts in the game. And it's like, that's it. Cooper gets to play the game 3 times. 3 times. That's it. Like, what kind of game? Look, I get it. There's gonna be a main character, sure. But what kind of game introduces the aspect of couch play and co-op where several people play several characters and you play through the story together? What kind of game benches a character entirely? And like, I felt bad that my brother's friend, his name was Chris, That brother Chris got 3 times. He played the game 3 times and still ended up having to eat a chip, bro.
Chris.
For those of you who don't know, like, what do you mean eat a chip? My brother's channel, we did if your character dies, you have to eat the world's highest chip. Spoiler alert, Chris eats one. 2 other people eat it, so I'm not gonna spoil who. But Chris eats one. He played the game, I believe, 3 to 4 times as Cooper, and still has to eat a chip because he messed up somewhere. I'm not gonna say where, but he messed up. But Cooper, you get to play us 3 to 4 times. So Young and Stratford are the MCs. Young, especially, is the MC. How can you, as the gamer, how can you introduce the idea of couch play and make one character significantly have more game time, but to underutilize the rest of the cast is strange to me. You know, you can't have a couch play idea of a game and underutilize the team. That's not right. That's not right. Obviously, I had a blast watching my brother's friends, you know, mess up and having their moments and making decisions. I obviously had a blast. But I feel like the game as a whole fell short for a lot of people, especially for myself. Like, I thought the game would be, first of all, it wasn't even scary, let's be real. I had a couple of moments, but for the most part, it was severely not that scary.
Come on. Safety!
Oh my gosh, bro.
That's not fair!
And that's not me being a pro, you know, horror game player. It's me being real. It's not that scary. It's more suspenseful than anything. It's not that scary. And yeah, they severely underutilized a couple of characters, and that's like one of my other biggest complaints. You can't introduce the idea of couch play and make it kind of like spectating play. You know what I mean? They confused the two. One character was obviously the main character, which is fine, but you can't introduce couch play and then like bench everyone else, bro. You just can't do that. Also, it doesn't feel like me. It didn't feel like, I'm gonna speak for myself because that's the character I played as. Me playing, I don't think I made a single choice that severely impacted the game. Stratford made decisions that impacted the game. Young made decisions that impacted the game. You can even argue Esley. But Cooper and Cernan, them two, I don't think there's any decisions they make that severely impacted the game. When I say the game, I mean the story. The story doesn't feel like it has multiple endings. It just has multiple outcomes where certain characters are alive and certain characters aren't alive. One of the endings that you get in the game is like at the end of the game, one of the aliens are on the ship with you, escaping. But like, as the story as a whole, it has the same outcome regardless, and that's a little bit meh, you know. And in the end, the story, there's no really good outcome in the game. They still send the clones out to the planet non-stop. Nothing changes. Maybe there is a different outcome in the game, but you know, that's like on replay that you can get it first try. But like, being a rational gamer and playing the game rationally and making decisions and impulsive decisions, like, you're not gonna be perfect on your first try. You're just not. And for a first time playthrough, you gotta be able to hit. And it's just they missed. We don't even care about anyone else, to be honest with you. Like, I'll be honest with you, the biggest emotional part about the game, my brother and his friends and myself, like, the biggest emotional part was having to eat the chip. Like, being scared to eat the chip. We didn't care about who died. They missed so much on the emotional connection to these characters that other games have had. Until Dawn, you're connected to these characters. Even the Quarry. The Quarry is like one of the more recent ones. Even in the Quarry, you're like, I forgot everyone's name, but you're rooting for the characters. You know, they're cool, they're nice. The black kid as well, who was like into scary stories. Like, you're concerned for their well-being, and here you're just like you're just like not that, you know, you're not that connected to these characters. And even if Young, There's no flashbacks except for that one dinner with Stratford, and it's like, it's so meh. Like, I don't know. And to add the cherry on top, like, how are we supposed to care about these characters if they're clones? We can still care for these characters even though they're clones, but because it was lacking so much emotional connection, when we found out they were clones, it's now like even worse for the emotional connection of the game, because now we're like, who gives a crap? They're clones anyway. And I think I watched Berlizzi's playthrough already as well, like yesterday, literally yesterday. In the end, they were also feeling the same way. They're like, they're clones anyway, who cares? Because they had chosen the wrong, I forgot her name, that's how trash this game is. The wrong chick on the planet, the stranded chick. And she dies there. We don't care. You guys miss that much on the emotional aspect of the game that we don't care. It's a story mode game. We're not talking about an action mode game. We're not talking about nothing. Story. How are you gonna miss on the emotional connection side of things in a story mode game? How? You can't do that. Yet they did. And that is probably one of the biggest misses in this game. And it's just a shame because it was such a cool concept, but they missed entirely. Like, this for real could have been Among Us. If they really just took the blueprint of Among Us, who's the imposter? How many imposters are there? This game would have been, it would have been a 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, no joke. Like, the game could have had that much potential. Even if, like, the emotional connection wasn't all that, it would have been such a thrill. It would have been so fun if it was on some Among Us timing, and you gotta make sure who's who, and you gotta pay attention to little details. Like, for example, like Young, one of in the game, my brother's friend Samuel, he got injured in the eye, right? It would have been, that's like, he got injured in the eye and he has to wear like an eye patch thing. If injured Young was with us and in a moment she just disappears, like let's just say she splits up for whatever reason, and we see Young walking with us and she has two eyes. Maybe like not everybody catches on because maybe they're not paying attention. Or like in the background there's two eyes Young. You know what I mean? There's a Young with two eyes in the background, and then we're like, nobody picks up on it because she's in the background. But people who are like very observant, they'll be like, oh my gosh, that's not Young. She has two eyes. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? And then the suspense is building. Every second is suspenseful. Like, when is this Young gonna take us out? What's gonna happen? Like, you know what I mean? They had everything right there to be like so fun, and they missed entirely, bro. They missed entirely, and it sucks because again, it could have been so fun, and it leaves a lot of room for the what ifs. What if they did this? What if they did that? But the truth is, the game falls short. That's about it. I mean, like, those are like those complaints I just listed. Like, they're my biggest complaints, and like, there's no reason to keep going. It would just be beating on a freaking dead body at this point. That this game is. It's severely underwhelming, and for a quote-unquote horror game, there was no horror, brother. It was suspenseful. Nice job. The monsters, they look pretty cool. I mean, the aliens, I should say. They looked cool. Even like, oh my gosh. Even the aliens, when they were humans, there was a couple instances where we see them crawling on the ceiling, crawling fast, moving fast. You don't see that once. You don't see that once. You never go up against that. It becomes just like a whole, there's just the pink aliens running around. That's all it becomes. And we have to get by them, get by them, get by them. It was trash. Imagine, holy smokes, you were running away from one of the monsters, right? You're running away from one of the monsters. You have to make a decision. Go left, go right. And you make that decision, and one way is freedom, or whatever the heck, temporarily freedom. The other way is one of the monsters are there crawling, and then you have to do quick times, and no stealth, quick times. You have to do a quick time, or that decision causes you guys to split up, and then that monster that was on the ceiling takes your spot, and now the person, let's just say you were running with the person but didn't see it, that person thinks it's you. It had so much potential, and they missed. And that This game is so frustrating because, again, it has everything it needs to be a great horror game, a great story game, a thrill, a fun ride, man. And then it turns out it becomes like the worst, most garbage version of Resident Evil with that kind of monster that's crawling through the with all the tentacles and pink stuff. It was just trash. It was just trash. Don't even play with your friends. You're gonna be super frustrated at what it could have been. Just watch it on YouTube, man. I don't know. The game sucked, man. And honestly, if I have to rate it out of 10, 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 is a fair rating, I think. I don't care what anyone says. 3 out of 10. One of the funnest parts of the game is when we're all passing the controller back and we're doing quick times. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, don't mess up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't mess up, whoa. And there's quick times and you're just passing the controller, passing the controller, passing the controller. That was one of the funnest parts of the game. Because then you're just like, who's next? And the camera's panning. Oh my gosh, don't be me, don't be me, don't be me. You're holding your breath. You don't want it to be you. It's fun. That was one of the funnest parts of the game. And it was boring. Trash. 3 out of 10. Let me know what you guys think down below if I'm justified for how I feel about this game, because I personally think I'm justified. But I'm not the knower. My opinion is just my opinion. It's not a fact. That's just how I feel about the game. Let me know what you guys think down below, and I'm out of here. Love you guys. Take care. Peace.